Hello and welcome to week 26 on data protection and confidentiality. Let's have a look at the questions for this week. So you've got two questions. Look carefully, they're both identify questions and they come from Unit 2 on safeguarding. So 2.4.1, identify relevant UK home nation policies and procedures covering confidentiality, data protection and disclosure of information. UK home nation just means we're looking at the policies for England. They could be different in Scotland or Wales. 2.4.2, identify situations when confidentiality protocols must be breached. Okay, so there's a worksheet here to help you write your answers, but you might like to start this week by doing this spelling test. It's got the spellings in it, but also it's going to give you lots of useful information. Let's have a look at the worksheet then. If you click here, you'll get to the worksheet. So there are your two identify questions, and luckily the new GDPR regulations cover confidentiality, data protection and disclosure of information. So there's only one UK regulation to have a look at. So let's go down the worksheet and see what we're talking about. So I thought you should start by listing the information that's kept on children, parents and carers and staff in a school. What information are we talking about? This GDPR, what does it cover? So I've started you off. Maybe could you try and do 5 bullet points in each section? So for the staff, if you're being paid by the school, they will have your bank details. Parents and carers, what's that apostrophe doing there? Get rid of that. Parents and carers, they'll have the parent's phone number. What other information will they have on a parent? And what about the children? This could be your longest list. There's a lot of information kept on the children, for example, medical records, but what sort of records are kept about their academic work? Okay, so you're going to make a list so we know what information we're talking about. And then all of this information here is regulated by the new, in 2018, GDPR legislation. This website here is really good for explaining it. And basically, you've just got 4 things to mention. I've given you the 4 bullet points. Can you add a bit of a sentence onto each one to show you know what it means? So the first thing is schools have to appoint a data protection officer. It's compulsory by law. Every school has to do this. Schools have to prove compliance now. They can't just do everything correctly. They've got to be able to show that they've done it correctly. So they have to keep records of everything that they're doing. And for example, they have to report data breaches. If somebody accidentally gives out some information to somebody that they shouldn't have given it to, they'll have to show that they record these things. And finally, under this law, all of these people, the staff, parents and carers and the children, if they're old enough, have a right to request their own personal data. So you can ask to see what information the school is keeping on you, and the school has to show it to you. So this is just an identify question. So you can just write 1 sentence for each of these. If you want to do a stretch and challenge, you could put a quote in here from your own school data protection policy. As a TA, when is it okay to breach confidentiality? This is your second question here. Identify situations when confidentiality protocols must be breached. So I've given you here 3 main situations. So you should definitely breach confidentiality if you have concerns about a child being abused. We've already looked at this in Unit 2 on safeguarding If you're worried, if you've got concerns about a child, you go and report it to the school safeguarding officer. Or this is a similar situation. If a child is self-harming or suicidal, again, you go and report it to the school safeguarding officer. You don't worry about keeping that information confidential. You could be saving a child's life. The third situation is a bit different. What if the school staff are not correctly following school policies? And this doesn't just have to relate to safeguarding. If they're doing something in a way that could be dangerous, could be about safeguarding, could be about health and safety in the school. Maybe they're putting the children or the staff in danger by not fixing something or not having the correct equipment. Or it could be a financial situation. Maybe you know that the head teacher, the senior management team are fiddling the finances. Maybe the school governors are not doing their job properly. Then in that situation, you are within your rights to breach confidentiality and go and report that information to somebody. But don't forget to mention that you would always be doing this following school policy. In the data protection policy, it'll talk about breaching confidentiality and when it's okay to do that. Okay, that's your worksheet. That's all you need to do. And if you need any more information and to make sure you get your spellings right, here's the spelling list with some more information next to it. Try and see if you can use all of these words in your answers. Okay, let's go back to Moodle and see what else there is here to help you. So there are the questions, the worksheet. Here's your spelling test. Here's some other useful information that could help you with putting a quote into one of your answers if you want to stretch and challenge. This website is from the Times Educational Supplement, really good information that was given to schools just when the regulations were coming out in 2018. I've also scanned for you the relevant pages from the Louise Burnham textbook. You might find those useful if you're not quite sure what we're talking about. And you could also have a look at your own school data protection policy as a bit of stretch and challenge. I've put one here from Arboretum Primary School. Very useful information. Okay, so complete the worksheet, send it to me, and that's it for this week.